All right, everybody. Just want you to see that jersey. Now, I hope I'm centered in this shot. Welcome to episode 2. Running backs, fantasy football, that's what we're talking about today. Number 1 on my list, obviously, Saquon Barkley. It's hard to argue that. He is the New York Giants offense. He is the top dog in fantasy football for running backs. I don't care whether you're playing standard, PPR, half point PPR. You might make an argument for Kamara or McCaffrey or somebody else in a PPR league, but to me, Saquon is the number 1 fantasy running back in the NFL this year. The Giants actually added a guard, Zeitler, a bit of a veteran guard who should be reliable, somebody for Saquon to maybe run behind for a change this year instead of that disastrous shit he had in front of him last year. What else? Saquon Barkley, first rookie since Edgerrin James and Eric Dickerson to have 2,000 scrimmage yards. He tied Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie reception record for a Giants player with 91. His 91 catches broke Reggie Bush's running back receptions as a rookie. 7 times he ran for 40-plus yards. He joined Randy Moss as the only 2 players in NFL history to have 5 TDs of 50-plus yards in the rookie year. In 75% of the games that Saquon Barkley started in fantasy last year, he was the RB number 1. I don't think I have to tell you any more about Saquon Barkley. He is the number 1 choice. Number 2, Alvin Kamara, the New Orleans Saints. They look to have one of the best offenses in the NFL again this year, a favorable schedule. Kamara is involved in every aspect of the Saints offense. He's one of the safest running back picks. Him and McCaffrey, who I'll get to McCaffrey a little later on. He is on my list. They're 2 of the safest picks. Kamara's involved in every part of the game. Drew Brees dumps it off. He hands it off. He'll run downfield, do little screens, crosses, hooks, whatever, halfback circles. You guys have all seen the Saints play. You all know that they play in a division that just puts up points week after week. Them and the Falcons, or what they have, 54, 51, 50, whatever that fucking score was last year. That was ridiculous. What else on Kamara? Oh yeah, and there's no more Mark Ingram. I know they got Latavius Murray, but I really don't see that affecting Kamara at all. Even with Ingram, Kamara still finished as an RB5 or higher every season he's been in the league. So to me, 32 TDs in 31 career games. Kamara is a good number 2 pick, especially if you're in a PPR or half PPR league. Look for Kamara as maybe a 1, 2, 3 pick for sure. I wouldn't drop more than 3, especially in PPR. Standard leagues, you have an argument. Number 3, Christian McCaffrey. Like I just said with Kamara, about my point on Kamara, McCaffrey and him are 2 of the safest bets, especially in PPR leagues. Standard leagues, last year I believe it was Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon who had your best weekly averages for running backs. So if you're in a standard league and you're not scared of the arthritic knee or the holdout by Gordon, then you might want to bump them a little higher on your list and maybe slide 1 or 2 of my top 5 out of the way for you to do so. But it's up to you. It's your draft. You got to pick how you want ultimately at the end. A lot of people nowadays go 0 running backs. I disagree with that, but whatever. Do what the fuck you want. Okay, now, Christian McCaffrey. 1,098 rushing yards, 107 catches for 867 yards, 13 TDs last year, 5.8 receptions per game with a ridiculous 8.1 yards per catch. McCaffrey is an all-around back. He even proved those doubters wrong last year. He had 13 TDs last year, I believe. 9 of them were from within the 10-yard line, and 4 of those were from the goal line or 1-yard line, I believe. So he's dangerous all over the field. Cam Newton's got a wonky shoulder. Some people think it's going to hurt McCaffrey, especially in PPR leagues with his receptions, but I don't necessarily feel that way. I think that if Cam Newton's shoulder is bothering him, he's going to be forced to dump it off on those short little passes, screen plays to his running backs and tight ends, maybe the slot receivers over the middle on crosses and slants, hooks, shit like that. And if Newton still can't throw, he's going to be forced to hand the ball off. So what does that do? It increases the rushing attempts and hopefully yardage for McCaffrey. So either way, I don't see McCaffrey's stats or numbers slipping in any way, even if Newton has a bad year, which I think he will this year, similar to how Luck had a poor year the year before last when he was recovering from a similar injury. Wentz had a bad year last year trying to rush back. There are numerous examples throughout football that sometimes it takes a year before you're fully better. So I might jump back on Cam Newton next year. I'll wait and see. But this year is a prove it year to me with Cam. So bottom line is, I don't think that will affect McCaffrey's numbers at all. You can drop him or bump him up a bit. I'd even be tempted to put McCaffrey as number 1 in a full point PPR league. But Saquon Barkley, it's hard to bump him off. And do I have anything else on McCaffrey? Let me check my notes here. My notepad so you guys can see. Oh, Christian McCaffrey, there's my notes on him. Little point form shit I do. Alright, we'll move on to number 4 because I can't see anything quick and I don't want to pause for too long for you guys. Number 4. Well, first, the next couple backs, it's really fucking hard to pick an order for because there's so many question marks. And we'll start with Dave Johnson, a disastrous year last year. Ezekiel Elliott's threatened to hold out for the season. Le'Veon Bell missed last year. Now he's with the New York Jets. What can he do in that fucking offense? It is a rush-heavy offense, so you never know. Maybe Bell could excel. Melvin Gordon is another holdout. Todd Gurley with the arthritis, especially in his knee. How is that going to affect him? Is he going to play? How much is that going to threaten him moving forward? Leonard Fournette is another one who's battled injuries. When he's played, he's been... he's very tempting if he can stay healthy. James Conner, is he the real deal with Pittsburgh? Who's the kid in Cleveland? Nick Chubb, is he going to be the real deal? How good's he going to be? They just traded away Duke Johnson, I believe. They got Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield. He could have a lot of opportunities there, especially if Odell can stretch the field. If Baker can use his legs a little bit, that'll free up lanes, much like I was talking about with Kamara. Sorry, not Kamara, but... So, you know, it's a real toss-up. But I'm going to roll with Dave Johnson. To me, in a high-risk or bust situation, I'm going to roll with him. I think he might be the safest pick. The Cardinals have a new coach, and Cliff Kingsbury, I believe, what's his passing rates in college? He passed like 65% of the fucking time, or some ridiculous number. I think only two teams in the NFL passed for 60% of the time last year. So who knows? Dave Johnson could open up a lot for his receptions, especially in a half PPR league. It might bump him up a little more. They got the rookie quarterback now who can move around in the pocket, Kyler Murray. What will he be able to do if a team's got a spy on him? Watch the passing attack. That could create a lot of open lanes for Dave Johnson to take advantage of this year. Even the linebacker spying, we'll have to pick. Is he going to spy David Johnson? Is he going to spy Kyle Murray? How's he going to play that? So the Cardinals could actually be a bit of a surprise and maybe even finish close to 500 this year if things break their way and Johnson can rebound from that shitty-ass fucking year he had last year. But anyways, what else about Dave Johnson? I just feel strong about Dave Johnson bouncing back this year. And to close out number 5, I don't care. I just can't keep him off my top 5. He's too good a player. Ezekiel Elliott. I know some of you might argue with his holdout situation, but he plays behind one of the best offensive lines in football. They've added weapons in Amari Cooper. I think is going to be a bust this year personally, but you never know. I don't trust Dak Prescott. Maybe that's the Eagles fan of me, but fuck the Cowboys anyways. But Zeke, you are too good to leave off my top 5 regardless. If you sign and don't hold out, you could even be the number 1 back in fantasy sports this year. It's because of your holdout and the uncertainty of your situation why you slide in at number 5. And like I mentioned before, I had a tough time choosing my last 2 out of the 5 or 6 that I mentioned to you and the 2 that I put on my list. So anyways, take it or leave it. That's it for show number 2. Peace.